So, welcome to This Is Truly News. It's a wonderful place to spend, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to 75 minutes. I know, it's not really 75 minutes. It just feels that way. So listen, as soon as you start listening to us, make sure you hit the like button.
Yeah, before you fall asleep.
Yeah, just like while Sheila's introducing us.
Yeah, hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, and follow us. That would be terrific. It helps with whatever the algorithm. Oh, the almighty
Algorithm.
If you have a question, comment, conundrum, or snark, you can get a hold of us two ways. You can leave a comment, conundrum, or snark right where you find us, generally the gutter outside Bodros, or you can send us an email. That, especially like if you have a story to share with us.
Yeah.
That would be great at email, TITR@netradio.network. Now, hit the like button.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
This from the Mirror via our man in Liverpool, Patrick Reed.
Don't say Mirror. That was one of the scary parts of Grimm at the end.
Oh, sorry about that, but this is from the UK Mirror.
Oh, they're not scary.
Farmer James Steele.
They are stiff upper-lipped.
Yes, their upper lips are stiffer than most.
Yep. I did not know that you could put starch in a face. Who knew?
Farmer James Steele, 95, lost his Rolex watch in the early 1970s when the strap broke while he tended his cattle. It is thought one of his animals may have swallowed the watch.
That ate the fly, that killed the horse, that married the dwarf. I don't know. I'm out now.
I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Which ended up in a cow pat in the field. He's diligently searched the field at his dairy farm in Morda, Oswestry, Shropshire, but there was no sign of the watch. Half a century later, he's been reunited with it. After a metal detectorist, Liam King, found it buried in the mud. Mr. Steele, who owns the Treflack Hall, said the cow could have eaten it with a mouthful. He owns Treflack Hall? Wow. Yeah, he's the guy. So we could talk to him.
We should.
The cow could have eaten.
What he talked to us is always the big question.
Cow could have eaten it with a mouthful of grass, according to the vet. It was an amazing stroke of luck for it to turn up again after all this time. I was really pleased because I never thought I'd see the watch again. I only have half the bracelet because the other half must have disintegrated. Unfortunately, it is not going, which for you Americans or us Americans means it's not running. But don't you have to wind those even from the 70s, or were self-winding?
Some had self-winding.
Okay. The face has gone a greenish color, but it's not rusted up. It shows how well it was made to survive 50 years under a field. So here's my thought.
How do you test that?
Well, here's my thought. Maybe it's like those coffee beans that civets eat. Maybe the watch is better than ever and worth much, much, much more now that it's run through a cow's digestive tract.
I don't like you very much.
I'm most grateful to Liam.
No, not even a little.
I'm most grateful to Liam, who found the watch. Could have quite easily not owned up to his discovery. I'm not
because now you've made a whole new answer to what kind of crap is this?
It's a Rolex crap, sir.
Timex, sir.
Oh, we could start our own watch company, the Poopex team.
Yeah, we could do that. Or something else. Anything else.
Shitebox team.
That's not any better.
I'm not going to bother getting the Rolex fixed.
And a poodle would be our mascot.
And we could name our stores Poodunk. He's not going to get it fixed because it costs too much. And he thinks it'll make a lovely keepsake. Well, could you at least rinse it off?
Yeah, sterilize it somehow.
Fire, maybe.
Yep. So, have you ever heard of the name Phidias Panayiotou?
No.
He has no political experience, no high-profile endorsements, no party affiliation. He does have 26 million followers on YouTube and even more on TikTok.
Okay.
And now he's won a seat in the European Parliament representing Cyprus.
Nice.
Several unusual. Is it? What?
Well,
one of
better than a
several.
politician getting it.
Is it? One of several unusual candidates who launched improbable campaigns only to snag membership in the 720-seat legislature. First of all, does the European Parliament really do anything?
Well, they're pretty much like our Congress.
Yeah, but
they screw things up pretty well.
Okay. He said a driver Panayiotis stops, interviews, and posts about. Okay. This driver said, I wasn't planning on voting, but since I've been seeing you on TikTok, I'll vote for you. Wow.
Yeep.
Social media played an outsized role, you think, in the victories of more than one candidate, prompting chatter in political classes about extinction. No. We should only be so lucky. About its apparent role as an equalizer for unknown hopefuls.
Great.
As voters in dozens of democracies, which we are not, by the way, we are a republic, a constitutional republic.
Based on democratic principles.
Because the next best thing to a democracy is a mob.
Right.
Anyway, voters in dozens of democracies go to the polls this year, including Britain, France, and the United States. Now, the French have pretty much a straight-up democracy, and that's why they've had 72 revolutions at last count.
Later that night, 1789.
Revolution 17 took place 3.5 hours after.
The pot in the kitchen of history boiled over to stain the floor of France forever.
Amen. A 24-year-old who goes only by his first name, Fideus, won almost a fifth of the votes in Sunday's election, placing him third behind traditional party candidates of the center-right Disy Party, DISY, and the communist-rooted AKEL. Wow, there's a...
Yeah, it's in another language.
It's also about as far apart spectrum-wise as you can get. And then you have
pretty much
TikTok bozo coming in third. It's a first in a country where the mighty political parties have long earned ironclad loyalty by meting out favors.
Whoa, get ready, folks.
There'll be favor meeting.
There's going to be, well, what I think is interesting is I think this is the time for third parties to make a run here in the States, which I think would be a good. You say it won't happen. I say they'll show.
I wish you'd be right. They'll show up, but they won't show.
Yeah,
AKEL, yeah. The AKEL, that's the communist side. Secretary General Stefanou lamented the outcome, which he called a new reality in which citizens opt for non-politics as a political choice.
You wonder why, don't you? You general poop head.
The question, Secretary General, I have is, yeah, and?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You butt house.
It's an interesting way to register your disenchantment.
No, it's not. It's a good way to register your disenchantment.
That's true. Armed with a pair of social media accounts and staunch anti-immigrant discourse, a social media influencer rocks Spain's far right by snatching up. See, I have a hard time with far right. I never know what they actually mean by that.
Exactly, because it could be just somebody just right of center and they get called far right by the left.
A social media influencer rocks Spain's far right by snatching up 3 of the country's 61 seats. The driver was a national populist figure. See, populists are going to rock your world because sooner or later people get fed up of being ignored.
Right. And that's why populism is on the rise.
Popular, if you will.
Yeah.
He's known by the pen name Alvis Perez. He's 34 years old, founder of the Party is Over party. I like that. The 34-year-old was completely unknown to Spaniards outside the tight internet circles of the country's far right, of course, until election eve. Now he will take along 2 allies to fill seats he has won in the powerful European legislature that meets in Strasbourg, France, and Brussels. Apparently, they couldn't actually
Strasbourg,
say
France.
They figured no one knew where Augsburg was, but Augsburg? Nobody knew where Austria was, but they figured, they didn't figure out Strasbourg. In Germany, Maximilian Krah, the top candidate for the German far-right Alternative for Germany, was kicked out of his delegation for a series of campaign scandals and was, oddly enough, elected anyway because, well, it's Germany. The 47-year-old, what's an MEP? Minister of...
Educational Pants.
Sure. He's been the MEP since 2019, announced Monday on X, and I'm not going to say formerly known as Twitter because if you don't know it by now, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That the newly elected lawmakers from his party voted to exclude him from their group, which I think is wrong and sends a devastating signal to our voters, especially our young voters. The Alternative for Germany, or the AfD, finished second in Germany with almost 16% of the votes, better than its 11% showing a couple of years ago, 2019.
Yeah.
But still came way short of its poll ratings at the beginning of the year. Well, you know how those work. Krah, who works at a law firm and lives in the eastern German city of Dresden, was under scrutiny after authorities in Brussels searched his offices.
Let me tell you, they probably did the other thing too.
They probably did.
They probably did. This guy ain't the nicest of people.
No, he seems a little
Neo.
hitched. In Greece, a jailed politician. Let me say that again. In Greece, home of democracy, a jailed politician won one of 7 European Parliament seats earned by Greece's governing conservative New Democracy Party.
Going by the name of Socrates.
Because old democracy requires a cane now and oxygen for time to time.
Absolutely. And you got to speak Greek.
Fredi Beleris, a member of the Albanian ethnic Greek minority, who has dual citizenship, has been, follow me now.
I'm trying.
He had been elected mayor of the Albanian town of Himar last year.
Yep.
But he was never sworn in because he was arrested
jail
on charges and sentenced for 2 years beginning in March. He has denied the charges, which they're not telling me about. And allies have described his detention as politically motivated, which I could also say.
Yeah.
An Italian activist, Ilaria Salis, 40, elected to the European Parliament as a candidate from the Green and Left Alliance. He's under house arrest in Hungary, she's under house arrest in Hungary, waiting to stand trial, and she is on trial, charged with assaulting far-right demonstrators. That sounds about right.
Yeah, okay. I hear
More
that.
than 170,000 voters who obviously had no clue wrote her name in on the ballot to get her elected.
This is working great.
Well, in Poland, 2 candidates from the opposition Law and Justice Party won seats despite their previous convictions on abuse of power charges.
My people!
Wow. Former Interior Minister Kaminski and his former deputy Maciej Wasik were briefly imprisoned actually be Vasek, wouldn't it? Were briefly imprisoned earlier this year before being pardoned by the president, who's aligned with the Conservative Party. A third, Gregors Brown of the far-right anti-Ukraine Confederation Party, won a seat after extinguishing candles on a menorah that were lit for the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah in the halls of the Polish parliament in December.
Yeep.
There you have some of the more interesting members of the...
Yeah, I had read that German youth were breaking right, and everybody was thinking that youth worldwide are going left, and they don't seem to be.
No. Do you know why?
Why?
There's a pendulum.
Yeah, and it's swinging.
And in the 50s and 60s, it started heading left.
Mm-hmm.
And in the early 2000s, you could see just a hint that it was starting to head back towards the center again.
Well, let's not get too far ahead on this one. From CBS News via Ronnie Tucker. Hey, Ronnie. Alan Gratz's children's book...
Maybe he's actually Walter Cronkite.
...titled Ban This Book was published in 2017. 7 years later, his novel for kids, age 8 and older, is at the center of a debate over book banning after a Florida school district took the title literally and banned the book. Wait till you hear the rest of it. It's just a dumb idea. The Florida school district...
never, ever ask for what you actually want because you might get it.
Well, he did say that, and it was sort of like Abby Hoffman steal this book. I don't know anybody who paid for it. The Florida School District of...
How'd you get that? Don't ask.
Yeah, Florida School District of Indian River County, home to the city of Vero Beach, voted to ban this book from its shelves. In removing the book, the school board overruled its own review committee, which had recommended the school district retain the novel. Ban This Book, just for those of you who want to know, is about a schoolgirl who tries to check out her favorite book from her school library. E.L. Koenigsberg's from the mixed up files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankenweiler.
That's a hot property right there, boy.
That's one interesting title. Only to find out it's been removed due to a ban. She rebels. Tony, she rebels by starting a secret banned book library. An aspect of the novel the Florida School Board objected to.
Normally, I'm pretty much in sync with what Florida does.
Yeah, but
not Florida men.
One member actually said he believed the book's message was about how to overtly subvert school boards.
Well, that I don't have an problem with either.
Power drunk much?
And remember in the old days when school boards mattered, and because the federal government wasn't involved and the state government very little.
And there was some sense. Well, there was some foolishness that occurred, but it was usually kept into smaller districts.
Yeah, but not everyone had the same equality of education.
No, they still don't.
Best they could where they are.
You cannot make it equal because people are not equal. In removing the book, it's those friggin' Germans we got to get rid of. In removing the book, well, I don't mean Germans. I mean all Germanics. In removing the book, wait a minute.
That
might include the Anglo-Saxons and me. Hang on. Let me rethink this entirely.
They came for, well, hell, they just took everyone.
In removing the book, the school board overruled its own review committee, which had recommended they keep it. Indian River County School District didn't immediately respond to a request for comment.
Guess I wouldn't either.
I'd be ashamed.
They pretty much need a PR firm to figure a way out of that, and even then they'll mess it up.
You just got to learn to circumvent. Yeah, good idea. I'd do it.
Here's the first sentence of a story I never thought I'd hear.
Okay.
23 sets of twins have graduated from a Massachusetts middle school, making up 10% of the 8th grade graduating class.
Of 430. Holy Pete. Holy Pete.
23. The identical and fraternal twins graduated from Pollard Middle School, Needham, Massachusetts this week. Another student, who is also a twin, graduated, but her brother attends a different school.
Oh.
Or, of course, twin brother. It's quite unusual.
Why the odd number?
Yeah, it's quite unusual, said Principal Tamitha Bibbo. We typically have anywhere from, maybe 5 or 10 sets of, at most. I mean, given our numbers, we have about 450 to 500 children in each grade, so this was extraordinarily high. The school gave a special shout out to the 23 sets of twins during the so-called moving up ceremony. Twins account for about 3%, if you're doing the math, about 3% of live births in the U.S. This was about 10% of one 8th grade graduating class.
That's amazing.
Huh. The Pollard Middle School graduates must all have competed up to... Competed? I think they need an L in there.
It's a shooting contest.
Must all have completed up to... That's why there's only, an odd number of twins.
Yeah, exactly.
Must all have completed up to 10 hours of service learning in their communities, of course, it is Massachusetts. And every year, the Needham Exchange Club offers 5 community service awards, and for the first time this year, a set of twins. Lucas and Samir Patel won the award and a donation to their charity.
Oh, good. That's actually kind of a cool idea.
That's kind of cool.
I like that.
Freaky in a weird sort of way.
That is kind of how many sets of twins? 43?
No, 23 sets of twins.
23 sets of twins.
Yeah.
Man.
45 students from this school.
Yeah. Okay.
The other kids said, I ain't going to that twin crap. No way.
That's like more than a dozen.
It's actually 58.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.